As we continue to look forward to the year 2021, we are focusing on a season of generosity. What will it take to keep the ministries of St. Andrew's United Methodist Church vital and flourishing? How can understanding some of the underlying costs help you understand how very important your support and generosity are to the continued success of our church? I'd like to start today by telling you a story. A woman was asked by a friend to attend the friend's church. The friend told her how wonderful her church was. The friend ended her invitation by saying, "And guess what? You don't even have to give any money." I'm not so sure that was the right selling point. Because without the opportunity to share our appreciation for the gifts God has given us, our spiritual health is hampered. The great words of the Christian faith are words like committing and loving and sharing and sacrificing and serving and giving and worshiping and praying. Even Jesus said, "It is more blessed to give than to receive." We will miss blessings ourselves if we refrain from giving. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, the gifted preacher and author, once said that while the Bible taught tithing, which is giving 10% of what we have, he and his wife always gave more than a tithe. They did so, he said, because during hard financial times when they were younger, they put giving to God first. And they were so blessed. They would never consider not being generous givers. And the woman who was invited to her friend's church, well, she decided not to go. She said to her own pastor when she was telling him about the invitation, she said, "I kept thinking to myself that something was wrong here. I'm not sure it's a good thing to join a church that doesn't ask for money, doesn't give us an opportunity to give." You know, sometimes at St. Andrew's, we hear questions like, "Why is the church always asking for money?" Or "Where does all the money go?" Well, this week we're going to focus on just that. And I know that you may not have all of your questions answered, or after listening to this video, you may have some new questions. I want you to know that I am always open and willing to answer whatever questions you may have. If I don't know the answer, we'll find someone who will. Now, we have asked some general questions about the finances of St. Andrew's as a part of our Season of Giving congregational survey. And I must say, if you took the time to fill out that survey, thank you. We appreciate your participation. What was our goal in doing this? Well, we believe the more the congregation knows about the needs of the church, the fewer questions like the two I just mentioned will be asked. But it will lead to other questions like, how can I ensure that our church has a vital music ministry? Or how can I participate in making our church's youth group the best it can be? Your knowledge about the finances and the upkeep of the church, your knowledge allows the Spirit of God to move and direct you in your generosity and in your giving. And this movement of the Spirit just grows our relationship with God stronger and stronger. And more, understanding the financial needs of the church just proves how important your generosity is to the continued success of all of our ministries. So let's talk about the questions. There are 4 questions that asked about finances. The first one was this: what was St. Andrew's total income for the year 2019? There are 4 choices that you could choose from. The first was $364,285, or $510,458, or $444,184, or $405,615. So what do you think? What was St. Andrew's total income for the year 2019? Well, the correct answer is $444,184. That's pretty generous. But not all of our income comes from our members and our friends. During the year 2019, we raised $29,500 at the annual Golf Classic, which is well attended by church members, but also receives a lot of support from non-member participants. We also received $33,000 in contributions from the St. Andrew's Nursery School and Kindergarten. This year, the nursery school is closed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we are expecting to receive contributions of about half that in the year 2021. Outside groups like the Pine Barrens Barbershop Chorus and the Love Apples Quilting Group, they all use our buildings. We received contributions from such outside groups as these of $15,000 last year. Now, of course, with our building being closed due to the pandemic, we have only received contributions of about $6,000 so far this year, and we don't know what 2021 will bring. Last year, we received donations from non-members of almost $18,000. These might be non-members who visited our church or attended a baptism or some other special event, or people who have a connection to our church through family members and friends. So far this year, we have received non-member contributions of just $2,600. So yes, the pandemic has affected our finances, but it doesn't have to affect our generosity. Let's move on to the next question. What were St. Andrew's total expenses for the year 2019? Again, you have 4 choices. $352,763, $464,654, $498,352, or $403,228. So what do you think were St. Andrew's total expenses for the year 2019? Well, the answer is $464,654. Now, if you compare expenses to income, you can see that we had a deficit. We try to maintain an operating reserve that we can draw on when our income is less than our expenses. In addition, over the years, we have built some funds that we can use to supplement our income. We should especially note our endowment funds, which help out in 6 areas: a general fund, capital improvements, music, missions, education, and staff development. But these are not endless resources for income. Ultimately, it is your generosity that keeps our ministries vital. Next question. How much did St. Andrew spend on missions in the year 2019? Again, 4 choices. $8,634, $46,751, $19,484, or $29,987. How much did St. Andrew spend on missions in the year 2019? The answer is $29,987. Now, some of our mission spending is built into the budget. Some gets funded through the income earned by the Mission Endowment Fund. And the rest is raised through special fundraisers and designated giving. Now, each of these funding sources depends on, you guessed it, your generosity. The more generous our friends and members are with their pledges and regular giving, the more budget money that can be designated to specific areas of the church, like missions. One more question. What are St. Andrew's monthly expenses? 4 choices again. $29,397, $38,721, or $41,529. And the last choice, $33,602. So what do you believe are St. Andrew's monthly expenses? Well, the answer is $38,721. We have regular expenses just like everyone else. Each month we have to pay out expenses for salaries for our staff, gas and electric, oil deliveries, building maintenance and repairs, insurance, office equipment, postage, subscriptions for software, Sunday school curriculum. We also have a commitment to pay our ministry shares that come from the Greater New Jersey Conference. This is a portion, or our share of the conference's annual budget. Now, hopefully, some of this information has helped you get a better understanding of what it takes to keep St. Andrew's a vital congregation. Now, let's try and see if we can tie these figures to our scriptural focus of the parables of the mustard seed and the yeast. Now, actually, we have talked a good bit over the past couple of weeks about Jesus' parable of the mustard seed. So today, let's focus on Jesus' parable of the yeast. First, we need to realize that the mixing of yeast into flour, like we hear in the parable, in a Jewish home could render the flour useless. It would have to be used before the Sabbath, or else it would have to be thrown away. So this isn't just a parable about something small growing into something big. There is a sense of urgency for the flour to be used and not saved for a later time. Reminds us of the manna in the wilderness in the Hebrew scriptures. And yeast, like the mustard seed, is something small that can yield an enormous result. A little bit of yeast can cause a lot of flour to rise. As a matter of fact, 3 measures of flour is the amount that Jesus mentions in the parable. 3 measures of flour is enough to make bread to feed 100 people. Jesus isn't just talking about something small getting bigger. Jesus is talking here about a sign of abundant generosity. What could we do if each of us mixed our generosity with the responsibilities and ministries and God's vision for St. Andrew's United Methodist Church? Quite frankly, I believe that the possibilities would be amazing. And that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take for ministries like our music ministry or Little Hands, Little Feet to continue to be vital. That's what it's going to take if our commitment to missions like Cathedral Kitchen and the Neighborhood Center, Cherry Hill Food Pantry, and the Camden Forward School are going to continue to reach out in our community. That's what it's going to take if we want to have a strong youth ministry or a strong ministry to our senior population. If we're going to thrive, we're going to have to mix our generosity with the ministries and responsibilities we have and God's vision for St. Andrew's. And when we do that, I believe we will thrive beyond our imagination. We are given so many gifts from God, and we are called to give back. Perhaps we feel small or we feel like our gifts are small, but God values each of us and every gift that we give. We hold the promise that God's awesome power is at work within us and through our generosity. So again, in closing, I want to ask you to think about these questions. What possibility does your contribution hold? And how? How will God use you and your gift through the ministries of St. Andrew's?